Welcome, future biologists. Today, we are diving into the fascinating world of diseases, specifically how we classify them by how much they spread. Have you ever wondered why some sicknesses stay local while others sweep across the globe? We'll explore endemic, epidemic, pandemic, and sporadic diseases. This journey will take us from basic definitions to advanced global health strategies, challenging your understanding at every level. Let's begin. Let's start with the basics. What exactly do these terms mean, and why are they important to know? Imagine a disease that's always around in your area, like a common cold in winter, but at a steady, expected level. That's an endemic disease. It's regularly found in a particular population or region. Now, picture a single, unusual case of a rare disease appearing out of nowhere with no real pattern. That's sporadic. These are the foundational ways we describe how diseases show up in our communities. What happens when a disease suddenly explodes, affecting many more people than expected in a specific area? That's an epidemic, a sudden, widespread outbreak. And if that same outbreak then crosses borders, sweeping across multiple countries and continents, becoming a global threat? That's a pandemic. Think of it as an epidemic gone worldwide. Understanding these differences helps us prepare and react effectively. Time to test your understanding. Think about what we've just learned. What's the key difference between endemic and sporadic? Can you give an example of an epidemic? And if a disease is consistently present but low level in a village, how would you classify it? Pause the video, think about your answers, and see if you've got it right. Now, let's deepen our understanding. We'll explore the characteristics of these disease patterns and why classifying them is so crucial for public health. Epidemiology is the science behind understanding disease spread. It helps us track diseases, and these classifications are its tools. Endemic diseases, for instance, are a constant presence, like malaria in tropical zones. Their persistence is tied to environmental factors and how many people are susceptible. Public health for endemic diseases means continuous monitoring and long-term control, not just emergency responses. Sporadic diseases are infrequent and isolated, like a rare case of rabies. They don't indicate a spreading problem. But an epidemic is a dramatic surge beyond the expected baseline, demanding immediate action. The baseline is key. What's normal in one place might be an outbreak in another. Epidemics can be caused by new pathogens or simple changes in immunity, requiring quick investigation and intervention. When an epidemic goes global, crossing continents and affecting vast populations, it becomes a pandemic. These are often caused by novel pathogens that humanity has little immunity against, like new influenza strains. Global travel accelerates their spread. A pandemic requires a coordinated international response, as it can overwhelm healthcare systems worldwide. Accurate classification guides everything from local alerts to global emergencies. Let's review with some medium-level questions. How does epidemiology help us? What makes endemic different from epidemic factors? What distinguishes sporadic from low-level endemic? How do we respond to epidemics versus pandemics? And why is the expected baseline so important? Take a moment to formulate your answers, challenging yourself to explain the concepts clearly. Ready to think more critically? Let's analyze the nuances, explore how these patterns are measured, and connect them to broader public health theories. Epidemiological surveillance, which is continuous data collection, is vital. We look at incidence and new cases and prevalence existing cases. An endemic disease has a stable incidence within an endemic threshold. Exceeding this signals an epidemic. Sporadic cases, however, are random events, often due to specific individual exposures, not ongoing population spread. Our control strategies for each are fundamentally different, ranging from long-term programs to immediate case management. Epidemics are defined by a significant, sudden rise above the expected. They can be common source, like food poisoning from one contaminated meal, or propagated, spreading person to person. Pandemics are epidemics that have achieved global reach, affecting multiple continents with sustained transmission. The key isn't just severity, but geographical spread. Public health responses for epidemics are localized, while pandemics demand intricate global coordination, like vaccine development and travel restrictions. Epidemiological curves, which graph new cases over time, are powerful tools. A sharp peak suggests a point source exposure, while multiple waves indicate person-to-person spread. These curves help us understand the outbreak's nature and the effectiveness of our interventions. All these patterns are interconnected. An endemic disease can flare into an epidemic, which, if unchecked, can become a pandemic. The One Health concept reminds us that human, animal, and environmental health are intertwined, influencing disease emergence and spread. Now for some harder questions. How do surveillance, incidence, and prevalence help classify diseases? Explain the endemic threshold. Compare responses for common source versus propagated epidemics. How does One Health link to disease escalation? Draw and explain a propagated epidemic curve. Can a disease be endemic in one country and sporadic in another? And how has global travel changed disease dynamics? Challenge yourself to provide detailed, reasoned answers. All right, future epidemiologists, it's time to push the boundaries. We are going into competitive depth, exploring advanced concepts, global strategies, and the cutting edge of disease control. Beyond basic definitions, disease ecology explores how environment, host, and pathogen interact. This forms the basis for mathematical models, like SAR models, which predict spread. A crucial concept is R0, the basic reproduction number. If R0 is less than 1, the disease dies out. If it's 1, it remains endemic. If greater than 1, it creates an epidemic or pandemic. Public health aims to reduce the effective R2 below 1 through interventions. Another vital concept is herd immunity, where a large portion of the population is immune, protecting those who aren't. The herd immunity threshold, linked to R0, is the percentage needed to stop widespread transmission. Achieving this through vaccination is key. Globally, the international health regulations provide a legal framework for preventing international disease spread, supported by global surveillance networks that act as early warning systems and rapid response teams deployed during outbreaks. Controlling pandemics presents immense challenges. Novel pathogens exploit our lack of immunity. Rapid, equitable vaccine development and distribution are logistical feats. Misinformation and erosion of public trust can cripple responses. Socioeconomic disparities mean vulnerable populations suffer most. Historically, from the Black Death to the 1918 Spanish flu and COVID-19, pandemics have shaped humanity, teaching us lessons about preparedness, scientific collaboration, and societal resilience. Looking ahead, the future of disease control demands proactive measures, strong primary health care, animal health surveillance, and advanced lab capacities. Digital epidemiology, using AI and big data, offers real-time tracking and forecasting. Interdisciplinary collaboration, uniting scientists, policymakers, and communities, is essential to build resilient health systems. This holistic approach, encompassing One Health principles, is our best defense against future global health threats. Now, for the deepest dive. Q1. Explain disease ecology. Q2. How does R0 predict disease patterns, and how do we change it? Q3. What's the link between R0 and herd immunity? Q4. Analyze the IHR's role in global health security. Q5. What are the biggest non-medical challenges in pandemics, and how do we solve them? Take your time, these require comprehensive answers. Continuing with the hardest questions. Q6. Compare the 1918 flu and COVID-19 pandemics. Q7. How do mathematical models help and what are their limits? Q8. Discuss ethical issues in pandemic control. Q9. What is digital epidemiology and how can it help? And finally, Q10. Propose a multifaceted strategy to prevent the next pandemic, integrating One Health and global health security. Good luck with these ultimate challenges. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into disease occurrence. I hope you now have a much clearer understanding of endemic, epidemic, pandemic, and sporadic diseases and why these classifications are so vital for public health. Remember, learning doesn't stop here. For more such engaging content, practice questions, and expert-led lessons, visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for regular updates and new educational videos. Keep exploring, keep learning, and stay curious.